and welcome back to Breaking the Syllabus, the podcast where we rip up the lesson plans and say the things that need to be said in education. Once again, I'm your host, Tyler Powell, and today we're leaning into something that doesn't always make it into PD sessions or into our meetings, but it really should. Today we are talking about engagement strategies that actually work, and the weekly wins and flops that teach us more than any textbook or any class ever will. And like always, we are keeping it real today. So I want to bring in a new segment of the podcast. So I'm going to call this the singles, the home runs, the strikeouts, and the errors. So during this time, I'm going to reflect on myself either previously or throughout the week, depending what's going on, and go through some things that, maybe I struggled with, because if you're listening, you know that I'm going to be honest, and guess what? As much as I tell my students, I am not perfect. So for this week, our single is, my students were working well in class. They were working well with having some engagement. They were working in groups together. Now, I have been this year I've gotten better. I'm very hesitant about group work because, as we all know, some people just take over and call it good. What I was excited for with this group work was that, I got to keep this closer, sorry about that. What I like about this group work is because I no longer have to do everything. They're helping and teaching each other. It is something amazing. A few things I've heard is, hey, I didn't understand that. Can you help me with that? This is much better than every time. I have a question. When you're working with a group, yes, teachers want you to ask your group members those questions. So a single, something that I will take every time. It's something that works. It's not going to have the hugest impact, but it's getting there. Next, let's go through my home run. Let's get the good ones out of the way. I always like talking about the good before we get to the bad, maybe even the ugly. So today in class, yes, I'm recording this on a Tuesday, we played what I call the duck game. And truly, I've got a tub full of rubber ducks. My students pick one up, they click on their assignment, they do that question, and they keep going. The reason this was a home run today is the amount of stuff that students could remember with a little hint. Now, I am not saying I need to tell them how to do everything, but most students, after a smallest bit of help, they knew exactly what was expected. I'm going to keep playing with this. Sorry for the free AMSR for a minute. We'll leave it right here and see if that sounds any better. Then I can talk with my hands like normal, because right now I feel like I'm just stuck on this side. So with this game, it was incredible to watch students teach each other like a single, but to remember everything. Of course, we're getting ready for state testing. It's that time in education in May. So as we were doing that, I didn't have to walk to each and every single student. I could sit back and go and target students who I think maybe they missed some school, maybe they need that extra support from a teacher, but it really, really helped. All right, the good's out of the way. Let's go to the bad. A strikeout. So my strikeout is I was not being clear enough about my expectations recently. With different ways we've done in my classroom, I've gotten students who've gotten pretty dang lazy about bringing pencils, pens, paper, the stuff that is absolutely needed, guys. This is the stuff that we need every single day. And this goes back to me. I've gotten very lazy with my expectations. I'm trying to get them back on track, but as we all know, it's really easy to make a small change compared to when we have to make this massive change of trying to get it back on track. So this is something that I need to get better. Even though we have these routines in place for the whole year, we can always improve. I am one person, I'm like, oh crap. And yes, guess what? It's driving me crazy. All right, one of my errors I had today especially is, let me grab a drink of water, is doing too much for the students. Today I realized I was helping some students in like my last class hour that I've been giving the students too much help. As a teacher, yes, you can give them too much help. They stop thinking. Struggling is learning. I know teachers, students, parents don't want to hear that. I don't want my students to struggle. Well, we all need to struggle because that's how we grow. And nothing's ever going to happen when you just stay comfortable. There's probably 8 million quotes out there about it, but I'm just going to call it there. So again, something I know I need to improve on is doing too much for my students. Okay. Now, let's go into my next thing. The main part of this podcast today, we are talking about engagement. Engagement is not a trick. It's a design choice. There are ways to get students involved that are like, yes, they can go quickly. Oh, you work or give you a piece of candy. How long is that going to last? It's where working with those students that struggle with engagement. You got to find something to motivate them. In bad news, grades don't do it. I will say that again. Grades aren't motivation for all students. If it was, we would have it pretty easy as teachers. Like, oh, watch this. Boom, you have an F. Kid's going to want to get everything made up just then and there. Yeah, it's not what happens. Trust me, I've got plenty of Fs in my class. And those students, sometimes they don't want to come into my class. Now, I've thought about this for a while. And I want to share 5 engagement strategies that actually work. Number 1, I threw this on a review the other day, and I didn't think students would pick up my small hint. You got to relate it to their lives. In my opinion, the days of buying 87 watermelons or whatever the heck we used to read in our textbooks, those are gone. Okay? Say peace, see you later, bye-bye, get them out of here. Students don't give a darn about those problems. They want something that makes sense to them. Now, what I did is I made these last year, and I was like, oh, you know what, I'm going to reuse these. And lately, I haven't really had time to get much extra made for my students, which, yes, I feel bad about, but my stuff I made last year, I think is pretty good. I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. Okay, now, there was one that was talking about, it said somebody was, the storm circle when they won was blank inches. I don't know if it was diameter, radius, or circumference, but they had to find the other pieces. I'm pretty sure it was the circumference was this when they won. And immediately students who I know play Fortnite were just locked in, just like, I got this. And they're just writing, going. And it was awesome because they read through my context to make it realistic to them. The other one I like to bring up is I like to bring up as many metaphors to relate it to them. Of course, I'm a sports guy, so if you understand sports, you are going to get my references 90% of the time. I've also surprised some of my students, and I'm like, oh, okay, what do you like? Oh, I like ballet. Okay, I can do that. Oh, I like orchestra. I'm like, sweet, I can help with that a little bit. Again, I'm not saying I'm perfect with those, but I do know how to help a little. If I care enough to make it connect to my students, they seem to care a little more. If I did everything about, you just go and buy this, or it's 8,000, whatever, they're not going to care. Engagement strategy number 2, let them struggle productively. Students, they want the right answer every time. Okay, maybe not all students, but most students, they want the right answer. But you need to let them struggle. They may be sitting there and you might just let them, okay, they get it. And they're like, hey, I have a question here. I'm like, okay, what'd you try? And then as they're explaining it to me, I might just walk away. They may have a good start that I can see on their paper, but I want them to keep investigating into their knowledge. I don't want to be the lifesaver. Somebody told me something, I want to say February. They talked about how there are things called proximity questions. Proximity questions are those questions that they only ask when I'm close by. Since I started letting them struggle productively, those have decreased, increasing my sanity. So as their questions go down, of the easy questions, they know what to do, they just want validation, my mental stability keeps going up. Again, we talked about this earlier, how being in a struggle or being uncomfortable helps you grow. Number 3, watch your volume here because this one might get a little loud. Learning isn't neat. It can be messy and loud. Are there times where it needs to be quiet? Yes, I get that. But learning can be loud. Students don't have to be quiet. We are not training them to work in factories, people. Long gone are those days. If you wanted that, send them somewhere else. Let them go work in, I don't know, some of my teacher friends will get this. Send them to go work in a coal mine. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. They yearn for the mines. But that's not what we're training these kids for. We are training these kids to think, to discuss with others. If you look at any of the Common Core, it's all about, explain. Can you explain just by typing? I've seen some of these kids typing. They can't do it. They type so slow. They remind me of one of my old teachers. They type like this. Just gotta pick at the keys. They're not a home row people. They're like, It's awful. Okay? Now, it's going to be messy. I understand some teachers, you have organized rooms. Awesome. If you came into my classroom, you would see that. A lot of students get the perception is if the room is perfectly organized, perfection is expected. Now, with perfection being expected, they're afraid to make mistakes. Then you get those students that are always validating their answers. Hey, I got a question. Is this right? How about this? Is this one right? How about this one? Guys, you got to let them just learn. Let them ask other people. I understand some classes, it's tough. Guess what? One of my classes, they're not that quiet. Some days, yes, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to yell at these kids. But I got to get over that and be like, you know what? No, learning is going to be loud. I do have a shirt that says learning is loud. Eventually, maybe I'll put that somewhere. Somebody could buy one to just join me on my adventure. We'll say adventure is a great way. Number 4, challenge the students. So in education, we have a huge thing. If we're trying to take this big gap of where students are, we're trying to shrink it. We've done something at my school that has made a big difference, and I can't wait to see some results later on down the road about it. As we're trying to close the gap, we have to challenge all students. Students will rise to the occasion. Human bodies are built to grow and adapt, and we've got to trust that students know what to do with that. We can't always just be like, man, okay, this class, they're not the best. We're going to just do the basics. No, push them. Make them do what others are doing. It's okay if they struggle. Guess what? If you put a student who does really well and a student who does really it kind of struggles, we'll say that. I don't want to say low. If you sit there and you put them together, you'll be amazed at how many times this student can catch up here. But we see it, we're like, that student struggles. We don't want them to get upset. Guess what? They're going to adapt if you give them time. They want to be challenged. Have you seen any of these kids try to play video games? They will sit there and they are persistent. They will grind and grind and grind and grind on it. But you've got to give them the chance. That's one thing that you've got to be able to do is let them work through the struggle. Don't be afraid to ask somebody else a question. Oh, maybe the person that you thought was low is actually really high. They just don't care and they haven't been challenged. They're like, whatever. Teacher, yeah, you can zip it. Okay, number 4. Number 5, you got to build habits, not just rules. So on this one, you've got to make students know the procedures. You don't want to make your classroom become a dictatorship as much as it can be at times. I get it. It can be often, but not always. They've got to know what's expected. Now, I'm somebody who's really bad at this because I change a lot of things in my class. I used to do bell work every day on the computer. Then I'm like, get rid of that. I used to do this every day. Get rid of that. But I've done some of the building thinking classrooms, and honestly, I can say one word. My students know exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to get there. It's been awesome. If you're one of my students and I say the word cards, you know that means you grab a card, you look at it face up, put it on the table, go to your board. The first thing you put on your boards are your group members' names. After that, they realize that it's time to get to work. They know what's expected. Forgot how to speak there for a minute. All right, I'm going to throw a bonus one in there that I kind of forgot about till just now, and that's to get the students engaged is movement. If you have ever got to know me, I am probably 100% undiagnosed ADHD. I had a teacher this year say, you rearranged your desk again. You know that's a sign of ADHD. And I was like, so rude. I'm not saying she's wrong, but rude. I was like, hey, that's rude. And then I think about it. And yes, I can't sit still. You see me over here, I'm moving, my hands are going. I get it. So we've got to give students a chance to sit still. If you're a teacher and you've ever sat on some of those PD days where you just sit back all day and you just sit there and you're watching and you're like, I'm going to fall asleep. No, I'm awake. Okay. And you know what? I'm so bored. I'm going to get on my phone. I'm going to get my, Brawl Stars on. I'm going to get my Word or whatever it is. So we've got to get students moving. The 4 to 5 minutes between classes, guys, that's not enough. You've got to get them moving. You got to get them up. Who cares if it's just a quick, maybe even 30-second brain break? Yes, middle school teachers, we can do brain breaks. I know, it's crazy. My students, they whined, they complained about being standing up so much, but as soon as they kind of realized that they were doing well with it, most most of them stopped complaining. We do have, great athletes that are like, oh, I'm so tired from my 8-hour practice. Okay, get over yourself. Come on now. Well, there is engagement. It isn't a mystery, guys. There is so much stuff out there. You got to look it up. It's not about tricks, rewards, or dancing in front of your class. The only reason I dance in front of my class is to ruin stuff for them. Yes, I will dance, and let me tell you, it's not pretty. It is about interaction. It is about structure. It's about being real and giving them a reason to care. Hey, I want to say thank you guys so much for hanging out with me here today. If you nodded your head, rolled your eyes, or yelled yes at your car stereo, I want to hear from you. Come join the conversation on social media. Find me at Breaking the Syllabus. Guys, I want to challenge you. Some of us, the Spotify people, you are crushing the Apple Podcast people on reviews. If you are an Apple, you got to, help me out, guys. Help this thing grow. I have some stuff I do want to give out eventually. I'm thinking some stickers, different things, but I've got to get people engaged. I would love it if some of my students, you are listening to this, drop a comment on one of my social medias, my YouTube, anywhere. What would you want to hear me talk about? Hey, please again, don't forget to go rate, share this episode with a teacher friend who needs to hear it, or just somebody you think might enjoy a teacher going on a rant. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Go out there, change the world, and peace.